This is Mark Falalunga from the band Nothing More, and you are watching Loud TV France.
Let's do it, Mark. Yeah. Nice to meet you. And this is our very first interview with Nothing More. So it seems that you are on tour at the moment. Uh, you were in Salt Lake City a few days ago, and you play tonight in Kansas City, right?
That is correct.
Wonderful. How is this tour?
It's great. You know, it's awesome to finally have the album out, released for the world to hear, and be playing some songs off the new album, and kind of hearing feedback from everybody. To be honest, it has been a trying and challenging tour. Been very difficult from our truck hitting a bear to sickness to bad weather to just little cancellations here and there. We've just trying to keep spirits up. No pun intended. But to just keep going and get through these last 5 shows.
So everyone is safe about the bear?
Yes. Our truck with all of our gear hit a bear going from Reno, Nevada to Sacramento, California on the way to the Aftershock Festival. It ruined the truck, obviously ruined the bear. We're very pro bear and Nothing More. We have nothing against bears, I promise you. But it took a while to basically get a new front of the truck to make sure and get our gear there before we had to play. It got there about an hour before our set. So our crew had to, go as fast as they could to get all the gear set up and everything. And we made it. We made the set time.
If you come back to France, we have no bears. Or
I like it.
No,
that's good. No bear problems in France.
Yeah, and I think at this festival you play a song with Jacoby from Papa Roach, right?
Yes. Yeah. It
How
was funny.
The experience?
That's always awesome. We've done it a few times before. Typically, if we were on tour, we would just ask him nightly. It's like, hey, you doing the song with us tonight or not? And sometimes he would, sometimes he wouldn't. And then I just saw him. He lives in Sacramento, so I just saw him outside our dressing room trailer, and just went up to him and I was like, hey, you're doing the song tonight, right? And he's like, oh damn, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's do it. In typical Jacoby fashion, very positive, very energetic. And he just threw the song on his phone, practiced it once, and was like, all right, I'll see you there.
And
so awesome.
And 2 days ago, your singer, he dislocated one rib, right?
He did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his own doing. Him and Ben like to do jiu-jitsu, and that is not very responsible to do on tour. So they got into it. Johnny got a little too into it and kind of twisted his abdomen more than he should have. So his rib totally popped out or whatever. And for a couple shows, he had to sit down. He still performed, but he just sat down. Last night was the first night. He stood up and actually kind of sang and delivered in typical Johnny fashion. So that was good. We're kind of back to firing on all cylinders now for the last few shows and ready to, kill it.
So no cancellation, no.
Correct. We would power through. We'd figure, if Dave Grohl can still do it with a broken leg, why the hell not? There's no reason to cancel.
And the tour is not finished because you play in Kansas City and then you go to Chicago. I think this is the opposite of the country. So it's a long trip too. It's you're quite courageous, guys.
It's actually not too far. We have a day off tomorrow, so we'll actually get to Chicago, have have a good day off, go see some of the city, take a breather, maybe have two sleeps if we're lucky, and do a show in Chicago. Then we go Milwaukee, then straight to Pittsburgh, and then a final show for a headline show that we're going to do in Flint, Michigan. So
Wonderful.
yeah, home stretch.
So let's dive into the new album. Um, I've seen that you recorded the album, the drums in Sonic Ranch in El Paso.
Uh-huh.
Um, did you record everything there or just the drums?
Just the drums there. Everything else, due to the pandemic and whatnot, we actually all did separately. There was a ton of file sharing going on. I recorded all the guitars and had Dan come over and do the bass in my garage. I turned my garage into a studio once we found out it was like, hey, you can't go anywhere. So I did that. Johnny did all the vocals in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Mm.
And yeah, and Ben helped out with editing and all that from Phoenix, Arizona. So it was a very different album, frustrating at times, but I think it was a good learning process for all of us, just to kind of like figure out how to do this if we were to do it remotely or if we had to.
I've read that it was a longer process, writing process than the stories we tell ourselves, the previous ones, right?
Yeah, it definitely was. We did tour off of the past album for maybe a lot longer than we anticipated, and that was a good thing, because the album was doing really well. We got some awesome tours, so that took us to the end of 2019, and when that about right around then we started writing for the Spirits record, and it was hard for everybody, honestly, just due to the pandemic, due to figuring everything out, everybody's state of mind. um, but I'm really glad, honestly, that it did take longer because when you listen to it, I think there's some really in-depth rabbit holes we got to go down. We really got to get in touch with a lot of our progressive side as a rock band, which is neat. And I think something that we had maybe shied away from in the past. So it was kind of fun to do that with this record.
So I feel that this new album is maybe a bit more energetic compared to to the previous one. You agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. There are heavier songs for sure. I think we went a little more graphic with some of the lyrical content, and Johnny's voice gets a little more aggressive um, in some parts for sure, which is really cool.
Um, and despite, of course, the content is maybe a bit more aggressive, despite there are kind of break in the album with the album with the songs Best Times and Déjà Vu, like we say Déjà Vu in France, in French.
That's awesome. I love it.
So,
Yeah. Do you like
so
those songs in particular? Is that what you're saying?
I'm telling you, it breaks, the album gives something a new wave, like
Yeah.
stop and go,
Yeah, definitely. In typical Nothing More fashion, we try to be able to have a nice range of dynamics. Have softer songs or maybe a little different color to the album. Not everything is like pummeling, metal.
Yeah.
We're not really that band. We like to, kind of vary it up and with each album kind of have more of a ride.
Yeah.
It's like kind of heavy, soft, and emotional and aggressive, everything in between.
So you wrote the lyrics together with Daniel and Johnny, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we do everything lyrically
So
together.
yeah, it seems that the lyrics are kind of about spirits and the déjà vu deja vu. Sorry, this surreal situation. It's about the yeah, something special about the those lyrics, right?
Nice. Yeah, honestly, it's like I think that song and You Don't Know What Love Means are kind of similar ish with the content. A lot of the times, we can in with in life experience, you get in these situations with relationships to where you feel like you've been there before, and you're um sometimes it can be very toxic. It's like, man, we were just going through this cycle over and over again. We bend and we break, and it's kind of rubber band like. And sometimes that's you need the ebb and flow, but sometimes it's very destructive, and you really have to ask yourself, is it time to just have it break and kind of
Mhm.
get out of there? um, so I think a lot of people can relate with those songs, because I know I personally have several relationships of mine in my past to where I've gone through a similar situation. So we all kind of pull from those experiences, wanting our music to connect with others and realize that they're not alone. It really kind of connects with a lot of the artwork that we have going on, that you see these spirit types and these characters. um, and it was a really cool thing. The test that Johnny had developed and kind of brought to the table. At first, we're like, I don't know how this is going to fit in with the band. Like, this is neat. But then he kind of started working with an artist, and then brought in all the artwork, and it's like, oh, okay, this is really badass. And then we kind of like really started developing it. We had to connect with all the symbols and kind of go into that. So there is kind of this cerebral, different approach and feel to the album, much like the song Spirits and the song Face It. um, there's a lot of inner, introspective, uh, diving into yourself. I'd say, to face your inner demons, and honestly, at the end of the day, to actually almost come to an inner peace kind of with all of yourself. I feel like that was a lot of the pandemic. We all kind of had these questions, and it's like you really have to deal with yourself, because there's so much time to just be with yourself,
Yeah.
and you just learn how to accept all of you, all of your angel and all of your animal, and realize that it's like, that is all of me. I don't need to deny one or the other, but I am everything. And I think that's a big theme of the record.
And I feel that a lot of people, we we slew down a lot, and we try to reconnect with nature, with our families, with humanity, because we are in a society more and more unhuman, I would say, you know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it was a great stopping point, like you're saying, to kind of stop and like really assess where we are and get in touch with the things that matter the most. Those priorities that you're talking about, like family and like yourself, and loving yourself, accepting yourself in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And the artwork, of course, it fits very well with Halloween very soon.
Very true. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up. I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
So next year, you will know your 20th 20th anniversary of the band, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's weird to think about like when the actual band started. I guess it's like kind of 2002-ish. Like, I met Johnny, I think, in 2001 or 2002. It's hard to remember, to be honest. And we called ourselves a different band. I was actually the singer for a couple shows,
And he
and then
was
it
a
was like,
drummer.
yeah, yes, he was. And then it was like, Mark, you need to focus on guitar. So I was fired from that singer position. and we found a different singer. And then fast forward through the years, we had been through five other singers, and then decided, Johnny, it's time to go to vocals. He had the best harmony voice. But I'm sure you've read about all that or whatever. And now you're right. It's about 20 years into the band. That's crazy.
So 20 years with Johnny, it's kind of more than a friendship. And is it easy every day yeah.
Well, you being a married man, Johan, you know how marriage is. It's hard. It's awesome, and it's the best thing in the world, and then it's very challenging at times. So I would say that's how being in a band is. I have the best job in the world, but at times it's like I hate living with this person, in this hallway back here of a tour bus or whatever it is. You get on each other's nerves, and you've seen each other at each other's worst and at our best. But at the same time, that is like a marriage. It is a different kind of love, and you really learn to accept each other for who you are.
Yeah.
And we're in it for the long haul.
So after this US tour, will you go back to France and Europe next year, or?
That's the plan. We're still ironing out some details, but word on the street, with our booking agent and everything, is that we'll be over there for festivals and stuff in June. We really hope so. I know the world is still recovering and still getting caught up with all the cancellations and everything. And there's
Yeah.
a shortage of, buses. Gas costs so much over there and over here. Honestly, yeah, the world's just slowly catching up, and it's hard to find availabilities for things.
Maybe you'll play to Hellfest.
Man, I hope so. We haven't played before. That'd be a dream.
The Hellfest was it's sold out within 2 hours.
Oh my God. Wow. That's
So
amazing.
it will be 4 days, and it will be party like every year.
There you go. It'll be a good time. Yeah, we really hope we can be there.